boys, welcome back to the channel. It's been a little while since I've had some time to sit down here and record something, so tonight we're going to get into something that we talked about in the last upload. If you guys have been following the shorts, you know that we spent some time working on a couple of people's vehicles. We had a 2012 Ford Focus that needed a motor swapped out of it, whole engine. And shout out to LKQ Auto Recyclers, because if you're on the East Coast, if you're in PA or New York State or Jersey or Boston or Rhode Island, New York City, wherever, over here we have this company called LKQ Auto Recycling. And if you drive a vehicle that's made between 1999 and 2022, you can find a used motor from these guys for a really good rate. We took the motor out of the 2012 Focus with the 2.0 Duratec, and in the shorts, I explained that we pulled the motor out and reinstalled a new motor that was good. The old one had first a blown head gasket. We swapped that out, put it back together. It drove fine for about a month, and then we found a crack in the block, and that was causing coolant to leak out of the oil drain plug. So yeah, that was pretty bad. But regardless of all that, we picked up a motor from LKQ down in Albany, New York, which is the capital of New York State. We picked it up. They sent it from Broadway in New York, at their other destination down in the city, up to us. We picked it up for $300 with a $100 core. And mind you, the last motor had 167,000 miles on it, and it was run for about 14 to 18 miles with no antifreeze in it, after the person driving it crashed it into a big rock, cracked the radiator, bent the core support, drained all the antifreeze, took it on the Northway, which is 87, if you guys want to look that up, Interstate 87. She drove it for about 3 exits, and then a check engine light came on. She drove it 3 exits back up, and up a big hill, super steep hill. So the motor was really hot. All the lights are going off, and then it wouldn't start again, so go figure. Anyways, took a while to get the information out of her, and we eventually figured out that there was a crack in the block. After about 35 days or so driving it, the owner of the vehicle, after the head gasket job, found that oil and coolant had mixed, and that if you filled the antifreeze up and pressurized the cooling system, that you could see coolant literally drain out of the oil drain plug with a little bit of pressure on it. So it was a bad time. Anyways, guys, what we're going to work on tonight is something, well, we're going to start it tonight. It's the valve cover. We went outside in the hood video, and the hood, you guys watched the last video. Those of you who know, way back, OG subscribers, you probably saw that we repainted the valve cover on the GSX with some wrinkle black that we picked up, and that was one of the first couple of episodes that we did. It turned out all right, but I didn't apply it the best, and at the time I didn't really have the means to do it the best I could. So what we're gonna do is go outside. We have a gifted spark plug cover that's on the car. We're gonna take the cover off. We're gonna take the valve cover off. We're gonna go ahead and clean all the old chipped up paint off. It had some problems. It started to peel off. I don't know if it was from lack of good preparation because of lack of space to do so, and I don't know. Excuses are excuses, but either way, we're gonna go out there tonight, and we're gonna use some of the knowledge that we gained from doing our hood. We're gonna clean off all the old paint, all the crap that's on it. We're gonna clean off all the old wrinkle black paint. We're gonna fix a couple of spots that are on it that are ugly, and we're gonna go ahead and make the donated, or gifted rather, spark plug cover and the valve cover look fresh and brand new. And this is something that you can do at home. You don't need a ton of supplies, you don't need a ton of tools. This is just something to make your engine bay look a little better. We're gonna make them look fresh, so let's go outside. So for those of you who have been buying the t-shirts and the merch and the stickers and all that cool stuff that we've posted over at todaysprojectguide.com, you all help me, along with you guys who have been watching these videos. All of you subscribers have helped us pick up a bunch of really cool stuff as far as tools goes over the last few months. We've got the whole basement basically set up with a bunch of cool stuff, a bunch of new parts. We've got some really awesome videos planned for this summer. I cannot wait to show you guys some of the stuff that's coming up. But right over here, we picked up this whole unit. It's got a engine leveler. We've got this nice engine crane, a hoist basically. A gentleman bought this thing, swapped his motor out for his wife, and then sold it to me. So here's the blown Duratec 2-liter that came out of the Focus, but that's not our point of focus here today, no pun intended. We're gonna get over here to this, and this valve cover right here, and this timing cover. We're actually gonna take this thing downstairs, polish this up and make it look better. It's pretty yellow. This cover right here for the spark plugs, it's got some Allen heads in it, and you can see all the paint chips that have happened here. And I think this is mainly because I didn't have a really great way of cleaning this stuff off. We're gonna pull all the hardware off of this, take the timing cover out. We're gonna take the valve cover, the spark plug cover, bring it downstairs. Let's get after it. Okay guys, we've got our valve cover pulled off, we've got our spark plug cover pulled off, and our timing cover pulled off over here. And inside of here, it actually looks really well. I've been super good about maintaining the oil changes and all that stuff. So if you look around, it's got fresh VR1 in it. All the cam lobes look good. Everything looks nice. So it's a little brown, but it is what it is. It's not too bad. All this stuff right here, like you can see that little chip of metal right there, it's about to come off. I'm gonna clean all that stuff up while I'm in here. But we've got our parts. Let's take this thing downstairs and we're gonna start going through it. All right guys, we're back downstairs. We've got our parts pulled off. This is the valve cover. I just bought this brand new valve cover seal, this gasket right here. Spark plug seals are all brand new. They're like 2 months old now. I'm gonna try to save those, and this right here, we're gonna paint this, and this we're gonna try to possibly polish. I'm not 100% sure. If you look at it, it's got some ugly spots on it. I'm not quite sure what that is. It was used and given to me. It was a gift from the same guy that drives that 240. It's a HKS clear timing cover, and it's got some issues, but it's all right. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead, pull the gasket out of this thing, and basically get this stuff all ready to start stripping down. We're gonna use some parts cleaner, some degreaser. We're gonna wash all these parts off, and we're gonna start going through stripping the paint off the valve cover, because obviously you guys saw it outside. It's ugly. Let's strip some paint, pull some gaskets, all that fun stuff. Okay boys, so the first thing we are going to do is we're gonna clean these parts off. We're gonna clean this cover off. But before we get to that, we're gonna go over here and we're gonna start stripping the paint off of this using a little parts cleaner and one of these nice little brass wheels. And this is gonna take a lot of this stuff off. We're gonna use some paint stripper afterwards. I go to Lowe's and I buy, or Home Depot, and I buy graffiti remover, and that stuff is really, really strong. So I'm gonna try to get as much of this loose paint off first with this and some parts cleaner, get a lot of the grease off of it, and we're going to use our little rotary tool, and hopefully all the spots that are gray right now will well, black actually, all the black spots are going to flake off. This stuff is so loose, it's just peeling right off. So I'm going to try to get all this stuff off. I'm going to give it a little squirt with the parts cleaner, and this stuff actually starts to break some of it down. And once it starts to break some of the adhesion down that's on the metal, you can actually start grabbing chunks of it and like peeling them off. I mean, a piece just came off there. Where is it? Right here. More of it. It's just flaking off. Let's just get after it. Boys, I went through this whole thing in the sink over there with some graffiti remover, and I used a little tiny bit of paint stripper. I had some aircraft remover that I used, and I got all the paint pulled off this thing. There are a couple of spots, where are they? Like these little tiny little areas right there where there's still some black paint, and yes, I know I have some chips in the thread part where the spark plug cover goes. I'm not worried about it. I'm just going to paint this thing because this is the only good one that I have. All the other ones that I have 4 others, and they all have cracks in them, unfortunately. But anyways, I'm gonna go through here with a Dremel tool and just clean all this stuff out. I also went across the top of the spark plug cover, and if you remember, I don't know if I highlighted it or not, but there was a lot of pitting and galling in this thing, basically where the aluminum started to oxidize, and I think there's some spots on the back you can see. Where are they? Yeah, like right here, you can see on the end here there's some little pits. They were little oxidized spots, and I sanded all of it out except for that one right there. That's, I'll wipe it off. You can kind of faintly see it right in the center there. It's like right there. There's a little tiny bit of it left, but I'm hoping that when we paint this, you won't see that at all. So I'm going to stick this off to the side for now. We're going to focus on the valve cover. I'm going to get the rest of the stuff cleaned out of this. And once it's all cleaned out, we are going to hit the whole thing with alcohol. I'm also going to try to knock down a couple of the spots that are on it. There are a ton of little humps and bumps and stuff on it, so I may spend a minute, like right here on the edge. There's a bunch of little rough spots. I may sand these flat just by hand, and we'll see what it looks like. I'm going to try to smooth some of the areas out. I'm not going to go nuts with it. This valve cover is not in the best condition, so I don't want to go Jaffro on it. But now that we've got it all cleaned off and degreased with some super clean, we're going to sand off some of the stuff, get the rest of this paint pulled off of here, and get it ready to prep, because we're going to lay some color on. I'll show you guys what that looks like once we get there. We have all this stuff done over here, and we are going to move on to painting it. This is all smooth, this is all degreased and cleaned. I hit it with 99% alcohol. Now what we're going to do is use our VHT engine enamel primer, which is heat resistant up to 550 degrees. You can use this stuff on all the engine bay parts. After it's primed, we're going to use our VHT engine enamel black, and this is the gloss black, you can tell by the cap. And another awesome product that they have is this engine enamel gloss clear, and this is the clear cap. This stuff right here works really, really well. What we're gonna do is make sure that all the dust is off of this stuff. We're gonna grab some tape. We're gonna tape off all the little nipple right here. We're gonna tape off or plug these little holes right here where there's threads left. And we're also gonna have to watch out for our PCV port, which is right here. We don't wanna paint that. Once we're done with that, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the color. So let's get taping this thing off. Is done with the VHT engine enamel primer, and something you guys want to watch out for when you do this stuff, these little tips get like this little bubble of crap right on them, so keep a towel handy or something to scratch this off with. I use my pocket knife sometimes, but it'll mess up the spray, so just, I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's a little tiny bit of paint there. But while you're spraying, keep shaking this thing, and make sure you keep your tip clean, boys. Bet you heard that one before. But anyways, nice even coat number one. We're gonna do 2 more coats of primer on this, and that's gonna help fill in some of the imperfections here and some of the little gaps and stuff. But overall, looking real good. It's a super, super light first coat. Got good coverage, but I'm happy with it. So I'm gonna stick you over my shoulder and knock out coat number 2. We've done 3 coats of this VHT engine enamel primer, and all this stuff's looking really nice. I put on 3 heavy coats, well, a light coat and 2 heavier coats rather, so 3 nice coats of the primer on this. I want it to be nice and thick. I don't want it to chip, I don't want it to crack, I don't want the heat to mess with it. I've given it about, I don't know, 25-35 minutes between coats, just letting it sit and dry. Let's just start knocking some of this out. set up. It's real nice and light. It's starting to look good, guys. I'm getting excited about this. Boys, we've got the color laid down. This is 3 nice thick coats. I did a light one and then 3 thick coats after that, and it came out pretty good. This valve cover is obviously not perfectly smooth or perfectly flat. I didn't sand it out like crazy, and that's because of that chunk right there and that chunk right there missing and that chunk right there missing for the bolts. So it's not perfect. Why spend, you know, hours and hours and hours on something that's not a perfect specimen? So we're now going to move on to the next step, which is the VHT engine enamel clear coat. We're going to take some of this right here, shake it up real good, and we're going to do a light misting coat over these 2 parts, and then we're going to follow that up with 2 thicker coats. So we'll call it 2 medium coats. 3 all day, and that's going to be the end of it. Then we got to peel the tape off, and I'm going to figure out what I want to do with these letters. So let's get this stuff laid on. And I wanted to share this with you too. This is a little fabric trimmer that you can buy at Walmart for like $7. If you ever have a dog in your car, or you have, you know, pets in the back seat and their hair comes out and gets all in the interior and you don't want to like rake it out for hours, this little guy right here works fantastic on getting the long white dog hairs that were in the back seat of the Focus out, or the extra fibers that get pulled in your carpet. You can use this thing and just kind of, you turn it on with this little button on the side. Where is it? Sounds like a little razor. And you just run this across the parts of the carpet where you have issues, and it cuts it nice and flush and smooth again, and it looks factory. I'll show you guys how to use this in another video when I detail the inside of the Eclipse again, but let's lay down some clear. We did our first mist coat over this with our clear, and it looks very blotchy, some shiny spots. That's all right. Let's lay on our first medium coat, and we're going to do 1 more after this. We've got this thing painted. It's now time to pull the tape off of the oil cap here, and the little vent line on the side, and our PCV port on the back side. I'm gonna pull that out of there with some tweezers or something, but this stuff came out great. I'm actually really happy with the spark plug cap cover thing. I think that came out awesome. The valve cover, obviously, it's shiny, it's black, and you can still see all the little imperfections from the casting. That's all right. At least it's not disgusting anymore, and it's also not filled with crap from rain getting inside of it. So I am completely content with this. I think it looks great. The only thing that I'm kind of bummed about is I don't have my new hardware yet. I did order a bunch of new M10 bolts for the valve cover to go back in the car. They're stainless socket-headed Allen key heads, you know what I mean? And I got some new ones for that. They're just not here yet, so I'm gonna have to put the ugly old hardware back in it for right now, but hopefully that package shows up in the next day or 2. Let's continue on with this. Let's get that gasket cleaned off. We're gonna reuse it because, like I said, I just replaced it and save $30 where you can. Let's get this thing flipped over on this nice little towel here and carefully press that gasket in with a little bit of RTV, get it out on the car. Alright guys, we're almost there. The valve cover gasket's all on. I just wanted to share this one with you. I might have mentioned it before, but if you guys use this awesome Mishimoto oil cap, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Can't think. The O-ring that goes on it is basically the exact same thing as what I use for my bumper quick release. It actually fits, and if you put it in here, it'll lock itself right in, and I'll show you the part number. Give me a second. Let me get the bag. So right here, this is a bag of 30 generic off of Amazon. That's what they are. Bumper fender FA bumper 30 pack X00390 MFB1. These O-rings right here are the same O-rings that I used on this right here, and it actually provides a stupid tight seal on the oil cap. If you guys are finding oil is weeping from the edge here and falling into the holes, falling into the spark plug area, grab yourself a big ass O-ring like this. It'll definitely work. But I'm gonna slap this bad boy back in. Mishimoto oil cap. Super cool news coming up in the next couple weeks from Mishimoto and TPG here. But anyways, we'll save that for then. This is going to go back in, and we're going to head out to the driveway, slap these parts back in the car, and we'll be all set with our shiny new spark plug cover and valve cover. Let's get after it. It's pretty late, it's pretty dark, and our valve cover and our spark plug cover are back in. And honestly, it looks great. It's raining right now, so I'm not going to stay out here for too much longer. I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to start work on the upper timing cover. But this thing came together great. I'm super happy with it. If you get up nice and close, you can see nice and uniform, nice and solid all the way across. And now we can call that one done. So we're going to move on to the next thing, our upper timing cover. Then after that, we're going to work on a couple other things. There's tons of stuff we have to do this summer. I'm running out of time to do it, but we do have an engine hoist. So if that's, going to tell you guys what we're going to end up doing here soon, should be a pretty good clue. This motor's coming out, and we're going to rebuild the whole thing from top to bottom, so stay tuned. If you guys haven't been with us for a while, if you're a new subscriber, make sure you stay tuned. We're going to pull this 7-bolt split thrust 4G63 out. We're going to swap our new cylinder head on, and we're going to rebuild the bottom end of this thing in the next couple months, sometime in there. I gotta figure out the dates. I got to line up with the machine shop, but there's some stuff I'm waiting on, a couple more parts. We've got rods, pistons, rings, bearings, all that fun stuff, and we are going to have a great fully built motor once we're done with this. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Now you know how to make your valve cover nice and shiny, get rid of the old crust, and if you do like I did and repaint your hood and let water get underneath that spark plug cover and sit for a week, well, now you know how to fix it. So anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. Make sure you check out the todaysprojectguide.com merch store and pick up some new t-shirt designs, new stickers, and thanks for your support. Thanks for following us on Instagram. Thanks for all the comments, likes, and views. You guys are the best. We will see you again very, very soon. This is the end of June 21st, so we will see you back here next week. You guys have a good one. Take care.